Hey guys, welcome to Trekyards. My name is Commander Cockings.
What are you doing?
I am stealing the intro.
This is Trekyards. I introduce these. You introduce the fleet yards generally. I'm Captain Foley, guys. Anyway, Samuel. It's fine. It's fine this one time. It don't phase me, bro. It's fine.
All of that for that with it.
All of that for that little joke. Hey guys, we're back and we're gonna be talking slow.
Please
clap.
like Stuart for that.
Slow clap to China. Yeah. Anyway, we are back and we're going to be talking about we're breaking down the Lower Decks trailer specifically.
There's a lot of stuff, Stuart. A lot of stuff, actually. And we like to look at the smaller stuff, which is actually important. Like this.
Yep. And today we're looking at one of the hand phasers that we see. And we're going to have a discussion.
Yes. Now, it's fair to say, actually quite featured throughout. Weirdly enough, actually. So left an impression, certainly. And to reiterate, guys, this is slightly post-Nemesis. You wouldn't necessarily be able to tell from the uniforms, but it is. Just, I guess, another variation. But as with everything, even animated, especially animated, pinch of salt to... I mean, this first image, look at this woman's face. There's very little detail on her face and her hair. So obviously they're not going for photo real here. And so the phaser... While we take it as what it is, you've got to take it with a grain of salt, and I wouldn't consider this the next continuity of a phaser, etc., etc. Especially the tricorder shot in one of the teaser posters, and it's like nothing. It's a non-prop, but we're still gonna look at it. We're still gonna compare it. But here it is. What do you think?
Because that's what we do. Here it is, and yeah, it looks like a mixture of the Dustbuster and the Cobra head. Because it's got the Cobra head shape almost. It's not quite as curvy. And it's also got a larger emitter than the standard Cobra head. Much similar to what we see with the Dustbuster, although not quite anywhere near as wide. So,
but it is recognizably a phaser, recognizably TNG, and not a handgun style, Picard style, which they moved to for some reason. So it is actually mostly correct in terms of the era. At least maybe. Next picture, though, we see it fired. And this is one of those strange things we've talked about in a few times before. Changing perspective can change perspective. You look at the two women firing, looks normal. And then you look at the guy who, when you look at him as a still frame, which you're not meant to do for these things, his body looks weirdly proportioned. And the phaser's clearly been, like, squished because it's a 2D... It's not real 3D being generated. It's a 2D still. So, like, it breaks the illusion, changes the entire vibe.
Yeah. All I'm noticing in this photo is the bottom of their boots with the delta and the star. Anyway.
They loved it in that.
Anywho.
Also, yellow souls. Why would you give them the division color souls?
Because so you can tell who's dead from a far distance because they're lying on their backs.
I know it's a gimmick, but it's a little bit daft.
Anyway, we're not talking about uniforms today. That might be another video at some point.
No. Next picture, though, Stuart. I did the thing. I took every still. It does change the vibe depending on the shot. And here is as you see, the top, you've got the Cobra head, you've got the Dolphin, and you've got the Nemesis, which if it was... Okay, so I'll go disclaimer before I say what you think. So we're well past the Cobra head on the left, which is mid-TNG to late TNG, and start DS9, and just start Voyager. Then Voyager DS9 transitioned to the Dolphin head, which was then used in First Contact and Insurrection, and that is the middle one, much sleeker, etc. Then, just for Nemesis and for Endgame future one, they have the incredibly sleek one, and that is this shows it set after that. So it would be more sleek, but even I felt it a bit silly in Nemesis how tiddly it is. You can barely see it. It really loses a lot of that vibe. But that was the flagship, that was the best ship. Why would this lower decks ship have the best new phasers? So with that disclaimer, Stuart, what do you think? Now you're seeing it in a really nice sort of comparison.
Well, first of all, we got to take it as animated and grain of salt, and not every frame of everything is going to look exactly the same or
because it doesn't.
Correct. No, not. Unless these are different phasers, which I very much doubt, because the details on the side, the lines kind of indicate, But that being said, now that I've seen them compared with the actual phasers, I get more of a dolphin head vibe from this one. It doesn't seem like it is the later, the sleeker one.
Oh no, yeah, it's not. it's not new era appropriate. It's maybe old era sort of appropriate.
Yeah. So it definitely has more of a dolphin head feel, and I'm fine with that. If it works, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
But it has been. I like this because it has actually been designed. If you look at the second from the right, you can see there is the classic underhand grip, but also there's a top hand grip grey element, which is not the same in any of the other ones. I mean, you could possibly say it was the boomerang. Yeah, no, it's the Cobra Head one, but it feels different to me. But there's a bit that there's a lip on the other end. I mean, it's. I mean, I guess you could maybe argue it's a heavily exaggerated Cobra Head, which is the TNG left hand side one, because I guess you can see a sort of lip on that. But I mean, it's tiny. But it looks like a hybrid. It looks like something new. My gut says that the emitter is still too bulky, and I don't know why it's so smooth feeling. And the fact that it needs that 3-dimensionality of the top of the emitter, that secondary shell is missing that, and it just feels honestly more comic, more simple, more quick to draw. What do you think?
That's exactly what it is.
Wow.
I don't know if we're gonna get a close up of them pulling the drawer with full of these and maybe have a little bit more detailed shots in the show.
I bet they are. This many times they fire the phase in this trailer alone. Yeah, I bet they are.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, animation's all about being quick and easy to draw, and that's definitely the case here. Easy shapes, and they're just extrapolating from the various phasers that have come before, and I think they did a interesting job. It does kind of seed it into a time era. A moment in time in the Star Trek canon, where this show really isn't. I think the show's a little bit later, with the more sleek one on the right there, should be the thing. But like you said, flagship, more advanced phaser. So
it's a difficult thing when it comes to Trek, because we saw, and this even amazed me having gone back and watched it. In DS9 they've already moved into the Voyager era costumes, and yet when Sisko goes back to Earth, which is the place that is the head of the Federation, head of Starfleet, they are still using TNG uniforms, the full red rather than shoulder red, and he has to actually change back into his old TNG, which was only in for like 2 episodes, or 1 season. Which you would think, of all the places that would be updated first, it would be the first place that Starfleet is, and so there's undisputable evidence that there is some level of rollout. Because that is a massive disparity, and they did that at the time because they had a ton of spare TNG costumes, they had a ton of people that, they had a lot of extras in those episodes. It made sense, that's fine, and it creates a different vibe. That's all fine. So to say, yes, you should just be able to replicate pieces and mass-produce phasers very quickly. So especially when uniforms instantly in effect. But if there's no, need, none of these phasers are broken. You can still use the Cobra Head. It's they're not that much better each iteration. They're just easier to use, and we've held each of them, and we know how much smoother and cleaner that is to hold the Dolphin. But I guess if this ship is such on the low in the pecking order, maybe there's just a rollout scheme where there's just no priority until the captain even cares. They just don't do it, and so maybe this is actually, even this is post Nemesis by a little bit, maybe this is actually the phaser in between. Maybe this is the Cobra Head B, a slightly sleeker Cobra Head went into Dolphin with some tweaks. I'm really extrapolating here, but it's definitely not as good as the Nemesis one. It's definitely not anything later, and yet it would. But maybe it's an in between. Maybe it's and it just was very slow to roll out because they just didn't care.
Yeah, no, I would definitely buy that. The main caveat here, because I know people are already like cracking their knuckles, getting ready to on their keyboards, is that this is an animated show, so simple is easier, and I know we're looking into it a little bit deep, but that's because we're Trekyards and we like to do that kind of thing.
That's why you clicked on the button to watch this thing.
I hope so, anyway. That being said, yeah, I can see it being like the Dolphin Head B, because they've made a point to make the line on the side of the phaser. Well, I can see maybe the Cobra, because it is kind of more angular. But...
and it's got the 2 arm pieces. Yeah.
But they made a point in each of those stills to put that line on the side of the phaser, which is very distinctive. That shows you that it's the same thing, and it's not on any of the ones pictured above that are actual canon. There is the the front piece of the phaser that does have like a line like shape similarly, which I don't know if that's what they were trying to incorporate, because it's just the division of where the front shell goes on. But yeah, they made a point of adding that each time, so I think it's fair to say it's probably a next evolution of phaser, you know.
But again, I think the animated is the biggest caveat there, because yes, it's got that line on the side, but what that represents is the slightly extruding shell, but they just didn't do it for the 3Dness. But it's still there, so you still can see, oh, it's obviously meant to be, a 2D version of it, as we are a 2D show. And the top emitters are both on the same level to save rendering of it, making it smaller, although in the second picture you can see it does go in more. So it's like they've said, right, let's take all the basic details and then simplify them for whatever, but it's still recognizable. There is one last caveat. In the middle picture, this is the scene when the Red Alert, and I think they find the zombies, and they're running through the corridor, and she fires in the corridor. It's very hard to see. I did try and AI enhance it, but not only is it slightly more gradient at the top, but the outer, or the top ring, the top emitter, looks to be glowing red, having just fired, which I'm not against, actually. It's an interesting detail, because we do see, not necessarily that, but there is there is actually a emitter that does glow red, so it could be a way of representing that. Like it has to get hotter and then cool down. Not overly against that, but it's just interesting because it was any detail in animated is deliberate, unlike live action where you can accidentally have a great person, a great shot, and a great lighting. Oh, that's a good happy accident. Animated, no, it's all intentional. Has to be, Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but that middle picture with the red emitter, as you just said, that line on the side looks almost identical to the phaser in the middle, as far as the line on the side of that. So I can see what they're kind of going for. But it definitely looks like an older style phaser. The one second from the left there, looks very much like a dustbuster, like an actual vacuum, just bigger and bulkier. And speaking of Canon, we just talked about a hand cannon, I guess. I don't know. I thought that was funny. Yeah. Anyway, on that note, guys, put your comments down below. Yes, we know it's an animated show. We shouldn't look too deep into it, but that's what we do here. It's fun, and that's why you wanted to come here and have this discussion.
Yes.
So be nice in the comments. Let us know anything you guys think about this phaser. And, as always, guys, if you want to share this video around, we'd really appreciate that. It really helps us out. Another great way to help us out is by clicking Patreon/Trekyards, and just helping us bring this content to you guys for free. It's free to everyone, but if we can get some help finance-wise to keep making it, that would be awesome. Lots of different ways to do so. You can join the channel. Feel free to join our lives for super chat and send super chats. Lots of great ways to help us out, all in the description down below. So if you guys are interested, please make sure you help us out.
And if you want to like us, please do. That is free, of course. Subscribe. Bell notification, that's important, and share. Anything you share anywhere might be, the big break we need. So do think about sharing if you can. And just, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff.
That's right. So until next time, guys, I'm Captain Foley.
I'm Canon.
Stay on target.